Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, and we'll get started on our next multiplayer matchup. I am playing the Isle of Ties, Conquer 2,000 points. I'm going to be playing as the Tau, and we are going to be playing against the Sisters player. So obviously the Adeptus Sororitas, we're doing a 2,000 point, 8 turn limit, 100 point target. So what my hope is that by sitting on the ledge here, I should be able to get some good range and then be able to run in there with some stealth suits and capture some points. So if you're enjoying these videos, please give my channel a like and subscribe to encourage me to post more content for you, and we'll get started with the match here. So I have our commander, so we can buff up our guys. We've got the ethereal. I just had some leftover points, so we did the tactical drones. Don't have enough for the marker lights. I'm going with the pathfinders with the ion rifle, so it has a lot of armor piercing to be able to take out any sort of heroes and vehicles. And then I have the stealth suits to be able to jump in there, use the camouflage, and maybe even be able to take some points before the other player is able to do anything. And they have the jump ability, so I'm able to get all the way over these obstacles in one turn, because what can happen is with these very small ledges to get into position here, it just takes a lot of time to get everybody into position.
What troubles you?
We'll throw the ethereal up here to be able to do a little scouting. Now typically you'd want to be able to use that broadside to keep overwatch, but again he's not going to have range on anything, so it is what it is. So we're still just kind of running into position here, and nobody's quite got to where they need to be. Now I stealthed here thinking, oh well, if I just throw all these guys onto the point, then I should be able to just sit here and camp out for 2 turns racking up points, and he won't be able to shoot me unless he forces my overwatch and has to come onto the territory here. But as I'm about to find out, that is actually not the case, because as you can see, with only having stealth units on the point there, it doesn't count as having a zone of control for the Conquer location to begin with. And in retrospect, that makes a lot of sense. You know, it would be just totally broken if the Tau would be able to camp out on these sites for 2 turns and then you can't do anything about it. But just be aware, if you are going to be doing this, that you're going to be screwing yourself a little bit. So you will get credit if you move on to the point and then stealth, but I think if you go back to having all stealth units on there, you'll lose your zone of control. So again, just keep that in mind, that you may set yourself up for failure. I'm just trying to move all these guys around so they can take advantage of the area here and of the commander's accuracy and damage buffs, because it will still stack on for their overwatch. And we'll see if he ends up moving up here, and we'll just kind of send these guys up here. So now that I know that's how that works, I want to try to get my drones into position, so then it can just stay there and we can surround it with stealth units to try to get overwatch shots. And we'll see if this is enough to aggro his forces. So he's running around with some arcoflagellants here. Unfortunately, they are not the ones we want to be soaking up the overwatch, but that's what's happening. I was kind of hoping we were going to have some nice vehicles here.
Tracking potential targets.
Now it looks like he's trying to flank me on that left side, but that's going to take him a long time to do that. So if he wants to keep some of his forces hidden over here, sure, go ahead. Okay, and as suspected, he's starting to have some vehicles come in there. He's got paragons, which are going to be a little problem here, because they've got excellent rockets here. So those are exorcists, obviously, because he's using the guaranteed missile strike there. He has more paragons back there. So that's going to be a little bit of a problem for us, because he's going to be able to use those launchers to take out our pathfinders from range. But still 0 to 0. So what I want to do is take out the arcoflagellants with our flamers. So That way we can do a ton of damage to him and get rid of him and stop him from triggering all the overwatches for his Paragon suits up there that have the multi-melt us, because they'll definitely be able to melt our Ghost Neil's suits and the stealth suits and pretty much everybody else. But the main advantage that we have with that is we can take his forces out and outrange him as long as I can stay in protection here. So I'd like to drop these Exorcists because those are a lot of points. He's got more Paragons, Battle Sisters, so we'll do something like that. And that gives you a 90% chance to hit. So at first I was thinking I was going to use that rocket, but I don't think there's really any reason that we have to do that. So we'll just shoot into there. Now I wasn't sure if he was going to have Retributors or Seraphim or anybody else, so I was like a little hesitant to use their rockets here. But now I can start moving everybody up to start getting shots into these Exorcists, and I don't have to worry about the Overwatch here because everybody's stealthed up and I got great chances to hit here. So it's like, alright, this should be working out for us. I should easily be able to take these guys out. And he's got a Sister Superior back there that's going to be his HQ unit at this point in time. So now I'm just trying to decide where I want to move the stealth suits, because I would like to get shots onto them if they move into the territory, but not allow them to easily be just completely taken out and destroyed by all the forces that he has up there. Now,
I am here.
I have these guys back here. And I'm like, well, if I move you all the way over to here, we should pretty much be able to get the kill.
Awaiting segment.
These guys are over here.
On your word.
So I'm just trying to decide where I want to put my guys. If I move them up a couple, then I'll be able to move the to take out those sisters here. I don't know if he's going to have some hospitals around here too that will just heal up those missile attacks, so we don't necessarily want to waste them. Now I think what I probably should have done is used my Pathfinders to get the kill there, and then I could use these guys a little differently to force him to attack them by just using them to body block positions, but by being here they'll be in full cover against the forces up top.
On your word. Stealth team reporting in.
And now I still have these guys here, so it's like I can run you all the way over to here, start getting shots onto that other Exorcist, get you here, but then for sure he's just going to swarm you and get the kill. So do I keep you down here? Do I advance you forward? Because now I'm trying to do this position where like somebody's going to obviously get uncovered as he's moving his troops down, so which one do I want to sacrifice to get attacked here? So I decide, well, let's just put you over here and we'll start working on the Paragons, and then we'll move you back into here so he has to move more units forward is kind of what my thought process is. And then we'll bring these guys back into here, so hopefully the Sacred Saints don't come over. I still can't see what he's got for a flanking force over there. And again, I could probably kill these sisters, but I'd like to guarantee it, so maybe do I wait? Do I not wait? I'm just not sure if he has hospitals back there too.
Repositioning.
And ultimately it's like, well, if I can guarantee a kill, I think I should just do it. And there's one freaking health on there, so I'm like, that sucks. Because what I don't want is for him to use that as a scout to activate my zone of control.
We serve the greater good.
And the other thing is now if he moves everybody forward, I don't want him to just be able to pick off my pathfinders here. So I was just trying to decide where do I want to put these guys. And it's like, well, if I move you forward, I can also have them shoot into Overwatch here when he's going to move these guys into position. Because what he's going to be able to do is use an Exorcist attack and a grenade launcher, and that'll be more than enough to take out a Pathfinder team. And he should have pretty good chances to hit. I'm going to bring the commander over this way, so that way he should still be boosting everybody's ability to do damage and accuracy. So we'll do something like that.
Confirmed.
And I don't think anybody should be close to being down here, but we'll just move you up a little bit and try to keep the ethereal way in the back here because I don't want him to get sniped. But he did already use the Hunter-Seeker missiles there to attack. So he does have a hospital back there. Looks like another Sister Superior. And we are getting shots off into this Exorcist, so that's good. 130, I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, did over 150. And now he's landing those attacks. Yep. So they're down. He ran the Sister down here and activated their Overwatch, so now everybody should be able to shoot into him. I assume the other Paragon shot into him and that's how all that damage happened, but it seems like the game has been glitching out lately so you're not able to see all the action, so I can't be 100% sure what did all this damage. Now thankfully those guys being there are affecting the range. She got her bonus attack. She's going to start buffing the Paragons, I suspect. Yep. And now the Sanker Saints are moving into position. So it's like he's taking out one stealth suit and
I serve the greater good.
one stealth suit and a Pathfinder, and I've taken all these other guys out, so it's like, oh, and now I can see a Sister Superior. So what do I want to do here? I see he's got more Sister Superiors up here, another Hospitaller. So he does have some good forces back here. I think I want to try to... It's like, do I want to snipe down the Canonist, or do I want to snipe down the Exorcist? I'm just trying to decide what I want to do here.
Repositioning.
And it's like, I think if I pull you back, I should be able to start buffing you, and I can. So now you got a 71% chance to hit, and it's a one-shot kill, so that was huge. So now it's like, well, do I jump down with you? Do I just try to do some shots from range? Still got the marker lights going. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure I want to take out the Exorcist, so let's just focus on that right now. And that does good damage. And we'll pull them back to here. And we'll use these guys here to shoot into those guys, and we got the kill. Almost missed it though. And we'll bring them down to here to probably just sit back, because I only have about a 50% chance to hit. It would be higher if I do that, but honestly I think I should just flame into these guys. Because two flamers and then using a Pathfinder to to finish them off, I think, is going to be all I have to do. Yeah, because the 2 flamers, because they're light flamers, can't take out a Celestian squad. But our Pathfinders over here should be able to do some things. So we'll run them up here. We'll use their ability because they're now out of range of the commander, and that gets you a 76% chance to hit. So that should be enough to pretty much finish those guys off, I think. I could move the commander down to help buff the rest of our guys here. I would like to use these guys to shoot into the Celestians as they're moving up, though. Got a 76% chance to hit, so yeah, I think we'll just shoot into him. And unfortunately, he's still got a guy left, so I'm a little surprised that happened. I would have thought that would have been more than enough to get the kill. So it's like, let's just shoot and kill him off here. Now I can advance him to protect that guy from the...
I am here. We serve the greater good.
It's like, do I shoot into those guys, or do I just sit back here? It's like, what do I want to do? I'm just trying to figure out who I want to prioritize. It's like I can attack the Celestians, or I can start working on Paragons. And it's like, I feel like the Celestians are armored enough that we want to take some big hits. And that actually worked out really nicely. And it's like, I gotta keep these guys alive to be able to flame everybody down. So it's like, we'll bring you down to here, because then when the points get distributed on his turn and that loses stealth, I'll get credit for it. And we'll start moving the broadside over to be able to keep getting shots into him.
On your word. On our way. Orders received.
And then if he decides to swarm them in melee, we can shoot him down with our Pathfinders and everybody else. But the good news is, if I bring these guys over, then I can use the Ethereal to put the buffs on most of these other guys here. Although I still think 2 grenade shots will be able to kill the Pathfinders even with those buffs on.
We serve the greater good.
And now we've significantly weakened down those guys. Unfortunately, the Paragons are about to get some maximum momentum to be able to attack me. So I'm going to bring these guys back this way, so hopefully they're in partial cover from the other Paragons that are up there.
I will slow them down.
I'll have these guys do a little overwatch.
Awaiting instructions.
He can hide for a little bit to see how long it's going to take him to get re-stealth. He's starting to advance with these other guys here. He's buffing everybody's damage, giving them more momentum and HP. Hospitler's coming down, so going to be healing up his units. Gave him extra attack, so that way they're going to probably use blessed armor or blessed ammo and get 2 attacks with the blessed ammo is what I suspect is about to happen. Yep. So that's what he's setting off there, and it gives you a 3 range damage and also more armor piercing, so they can actually do damage, because normally they wouldn't do anywhere near that kind of damage to the stealth suits. Now the good news is I'd rather them waste those attacks on the stealth suits, because they have actually 3 models, so they can do quite a bit. So he used his bonus attacks there to do quite a bit. And it sounds like he must have Arcoflagellants around here. Yep, so he ran them over to charge. He's got another 2 over there. So it's like they just feel like they're a day late, dollar short here.
Artillery standing by.
So it's like I'd like to get some shots into those guys. It's like no matter where I put you, I can't totally get you to have the best accuracy.
Engaging.
So it's like let's just shoot into them and roll the dice, and luckily we got the hit. And now it's like, well, I think we'll run in with the 2 and see if you can get some kills. Unfortunately, they focus fire on the one that had less health, so that's kind of a bummer. So I'll move you up and then have you shoot into here. And as I keep doing more damage, he's going to have more momentum be building up. So it's like, well, maybe if I just bring the Pathfinders up to here, then they'll be able to guarantee the kill, and then that single stealth suit should be able to come over here and attack the Celestians. He's now up to 1. So I could start dropping nukes on these guys.
Awaiting assignment.
It's like, well, let's just flame down these Arcoflagellants before they give me issues here.
Ready. Moving. Firing.
So they've now been taken out.
Orders acknowledged.
And I've got this issue where it's like, well, I want to be close to fighting and taking out these Paragons and everybody else, but I don't want to just be throwing away my attacks either.
On your word. Confirmed. On our way.
We'll put you there to hopefully keep you under some cover to help protect you against getting sniped down from the Paragons up there.
Awaiting instructions.
Now I've got these guys, and I could potentially use their attacks to shoot into the Celestians. However, I'd also like to be able to snipe his HQ units before he starts buffing everybody's movement.
High value target identified.
So let's use the missile strikes.
We serve the greater good.
You can shoot into there with a 45% chance to hit, which should be enough since you have 15 shots. And for some reason 15 shots didn't go off, so I don't know if it bugged out or everything just missed. So we'll shoot with those guys over here. And they're now dead. So now we've chewed through all of his command points to stop him from being able to buff everybody. So now we're in this situation where it's like I want to keep these guys alive. It's like, do I try to do some attacks with your gun? Do I just run you up there to try to flame? I'm pretty sure you're not going to get the kill.
What troubles you?
I could run you into charge, but then for sure you're going to die to those Sisters of Battle attack. If I run you up here, I can flame into guys. I don't think your flame by yourself is going to be enough to do the damage. I could jump them up there and assassinate the Hospitaller, but then I lose my commander, and I don't think that's a good exchange. So what I'm ultimately going to do is bring the Ghost Kneel down here, and they have a zone of control, so we're going to use that to block the Arcoflagellants in, so they can't run away. And then we'll pull back with our other Ghost Kneel. And if he decides he wants to charge into us, then we'll flame into him and get some other attacks. But we'll be out of range of the Paragons with the multi-melta, so that way he should be able to survive another turn. We'll bring these guys back, try to protect them against the Sisters of Battle shooting in with their bolters. We'll move this guy up a little bit, I think. So then he's a little bit closer into position for the next turn.
I serve the greater good.
But this, I've got a fear that I might be a little too passive right now. So it's like, well, let's see if your flamer takes him out, and unfortunately it does not. I didn't know if 2 flame attacks with these guys would be enough to take out the Celestians, but it definitively does not. So again, I could charge into here and kill these guys, but then I'm going to exchange my ethereal for that kill, and I don't think that makes a lot of sense. So it's like maybe we just run you down and use you to try to snipe a model here. Now, unfortunately, he missed his attack, so now you're just kind of stuck back here.
We serve the greater good.
It's like I could just probably jump him into the square so we minimize the
I am here.
amount of points advantage that he gets, but I'm pretty sure if he's going to just camp out there with his paragons, then we should be able to eventually overwhelm him with our forces, because we should easily be able to take out those Battle Sisters and the Sacred Saints, everybody next in turn, assuming he doesn't just run them back and heal them with his hospitaler, which very well could happen.
Awaiting instructions.
Yeah, he still got the HP bonuses, the damage bonuses, everything going from his Sister Superior buffs there. And it's like, maybe I'll run you back this way to hide in the corner. That way, he won't get locked into combat with the Synchro Saints and get rear attacks on him, because I need him to survive. Because eventually what's going to happen is it's going to turn into a war of attrition, where he's going to just be sniping me down with those meltas, I suspect, while we're sitting here getting ready to attack them. And I assume we're going to need these bodies to run into the center, so we'll just kind of get them into position.
This will bring us closer to victory.
So
It's funny.
I didn't really think about them using their frag grenades, so that makes perfect sense. So that's a nice little combo to know about, that if you've got your missiles there and your sisters for the frag control, or frag grenades, not frag control, that you can end up taking out a full squad of Pathfinders there. Alright, so they're down now. So he's pushing those guys over here.
Nothing shall stand against us. Thrusters engaged.
So it's like if I come down to here, I can flame through and kill both those people. If I put them here, I can flame through and take out two of the sisters. So it's like, which position do I want to keep them in? It's like, I don't want them to go too far because I want them to be able to buff the damage.
Artillery standing by.
Your missile strikes back up, so if I attack here, that'll do quite a bit of damage. Your missiles are back up. But if I just charge you down here, this should be more than enough to kill these sisters.
Wherever I am.
So now we can just do that. So those ones are dead now. I can just walk him up, because if we're going to turn into a battle of attrition here, maybe we just put you here.
Thin them out.
Now that was stupid because, well, I think they actually did have the buff to my guys, but we'll shoot in and flame these guys because they don't have as much armor as the Synchro Saints, so you'll definitely be able to flame these guys down. So now those two sisters are down. And we'll bring you up here to try to get some line of sight.
Calculating firing solutions.
Awaiting instructions.
We'll run the Pathfinders up. They should pretty easily be able to snipe down
Cut them down.
the Synchro Saints, even with their decreased accuracy.
Move.
Again, we'll run our flamers over here to work down the Arcoflagellants. And then I can start running them up to just try to body block and hold some of these positions in case he does decide to charge. Because it's turn 6 out of 8, so I need to prevent him from closing the distance right now. Otherwise, he might be able to win on points.
As you
So
command.
ideally I'd really like to drop that hospitaller,
Stealth team reporting
but
in.
that did not work. Now, in retrospect, what I should have done is I still have, the other one has their marker light still on, so I could have marker lighted that guy, the hospitaller, and then I could have had a guaranteed 100% shot to kill with my seeker missile here, and a 112 to 150 would have pretty much guaranteed, unless I had a lower roll on that damage, to have killed that hospitaller, and then there would be no way for him to win this match, and he wouldn't have strategic points, and it would force him to have to attack me with the paragons here. But thankfully he's pulling his forces back for some reason, which I'm not quite sure what his thought was there. So what he effectively did is now he gave me 15 points. Whereas if he would have had that hospitaller move up and they would have got onto the points, then I would have only gotten, I think, 10. And that would have dropped us down a little bit more. Now I probably still would have gotten the victory, but that was his way to guarantee a win. Or not guarantee, but that was his only way to win this. Because now by running away, there's no way he can close that distance on the remaining turns here to challenge my positioning of the conquer squares here. So now I should be able to get 2 turns of points uncontested here. So we'll just start using our ethereal to buff our guys, and I think guaranteeing
Wherever I am needed.
just the HP is the best way to go.
Awaiting instructions.
Reposition.
And now that he moved away so far, he's out of range of my marker lights, so I can't use the marker lights 100% chance to hit technique anymore. So it's like, well, I guess you got a 60% chance to hit. Everything else is just very poor right now. I could pull you back and try to buff the range. Now that he's pulled back, I don't think there's any reason I shouldn't do that. That brings you up to a 68% chance to hit. He lands a bunch of damage there and takes out one of the models, so that works to be our advantage even further. And since he can't get to where he needs to be,
I am here.
we'll just pull these guys back and try to body block here.
They will never see it coming.
He did use up some of his command points to increase the accuracy, and I think crit chance is what that ability does, those hands that you saw on there. So what I'm going to do is just run everybody down here, see if I got a better chance to hit. It's only 37% due to his elevated position, the
Firing.
points that he's got there, the momentum,
Awaiting the segment.
increasing the evasion, so I just couldn't land the attack. Now, I thought, oh, I'll use that to body block, but that's actually probably a pretty stupid thing to do, because if he explodes, he's going to unstealth all the other guys. But thankfully he wasn't able to get the damage. He's running her down, and he gets the kill, so now there's just the paragons, and we just keep stacking up our points here because we're uncontested. So it's up to 40,
Firing solutions.
and now we just got to drop these
Awaiting instructions.
paragons here.
Nothing shall stand against us.
So it's like, well, let's just use your attack, I guess, and unfortunately you miss. So I'll run you up, shoot into there, kill one of the models, attack here, kill the other model, and with that, we've guaranteed our victory. So, excellent. It's definitely was a good match here. He had some interesting thoughts by trying to run around the map to try to get to flank me, but overall, I thought that didn't work out for him. He spent way too many turns with those Arcoflagellants. If you're going to try to do a cheap Arcoflagellant, like bum rush situation where you're going to lock guys down, then you want to run them all in at the same time, because as you could see by him splitting his forces up, it allowed me to just focus fire 1 unit or 2 units down at a time with my flamer. Whereas if you would have had a bunch of Arcoflagellants there and spaced them out, then I would have been using only one of my, or I would have been using 2 attacks with flamers to wipe out one of those squads. Then the Sacred Saints would be in there, and I have to decide, am I going to focus on taking out the Sacred Saints, which do a lot more damage, or am I going to focus on the Arcoflagellants, which have a lot more movement, so they can then get behind and lock my units down and get a bunch of rear attacks. Because if they get into the rear and then they start stacking up their buffs, that's when they can do actually some good damage, and then they can just be used as meat shields as well to just soak up Overwatch. But by him keeping those 2 units way off on the side until the very end, by the time they got over here, it's like, okay, you locked down one of my Ghost Nails, but the rest of my forces are still in the center, so it's not really doing a whole lot for you, and then I'm able to just take them out in 2 turns. So wasn't a good use of his resources there. The Exorcists, I don't know how I feel about those against a Tau matchup. I think if you're on like the bridges maybe and you can keep them back and keep them safe, then yeah, it could be an interesting strategy and will allow you to take out a lot of infantry. But they cost a lot of points because they're one of the best artillery pieces in the game. They've got an excellent range, excellent chance to hit, but as you can tell, especially with a stealth suit army with those fusion guns, they're very easy to snipe down, especially when he was trying to advance them down to have towards the front lines to be able to focus down on my Pathfinders and things right away. So he overextended. If you would have had the Battle Sisters and the Paragons and things like that in the front, I think it would have worked out a lot better for him. I think the Paragons are usually an okay pick against the Tau. They're very easy for the Tau to kill, but if you're able to keep them alive, then you can keep dropping those missile attacks on, which will allow you to work on any infantry forces. If you give them the multi-meltas, then they're excellent at taking out anybody that's got armor from range. And if you don't, and you go like flamers, then you can take out the infantry. And if you get stuck into melee, then those power swords that they have do significant armor piercing and significant amounts of damage, and they have a zone of control. So I think there's a lot of situations where the Paragons can definitely pay off. The Hospitallers are always a good choice. It lets you heal up your units. You can get the extra attack. The Canoness is usually a good choice too, but unfortunately she's very easy to snipe out, and as you can see, a one-shot kill with a broadside that gets a crit, then that's just kind of game over for her, especially if you end up using a cadre and get the auto hit. Now in this setup, I wanted to just try cell suits because I thought that would be the secret to a successful Conqueror match, and it pseudo was. The Celestian Sacred Saints, I think those are one of the best units against the Tau because they can take a bunch of shots. They're lock units down, and the only downside to them is that they can get chewed through pretty easily by breachers, so you got to be very careful with that. But otherwise, they're pretty much good against any Tau forces otherwise, and can do a lot of damage. They've got decent armor piercing, and then if you end up stacking up their buffs, they get extra HP and extra armor, and those are all things that will work out to your advantage. As you can see, it takes more than 2 flame attacks to take them out because of all that armor that they have. And if you're able to pull them back, get some heals, try not to get a bunch of model kills in the squad, then they can just keep getting out there and getting into some trouble and messing up your enemy's forces. So definitely a great unit to use. The Repentia could also be good, you know, with their armor, but the problem is they're lightly armored against enemy armor, I should say, because I think they're Viscerator swords or whatever they're called are just do tons of damage, and if you get them in to fight a Ghost Nail, they could probably one-shot them. You could probably not one-shot a commander unless you got a rear attack and got some crits, but you know, end up getting 2 attacks with them. When you're giving them the bonus attack with the Hospitaller, then they could chew through all these guys. They'd also do a ton of damage against stealth suits. The downside is if any Tau unit will then be able to kill them the following turn because they have no armor. They're easy to be killed with the flamers, and generally you want to get them into combat using transports, and transports are extremely problematic against the Tau since they have so many very long range, very good anti-armor units. Typically when players have been using transports against me when I've been playing as a Tau, I'm able to snipe them out from range. Important things when you're playing as the Tau, if you have your unit stealthed, they do not have a zone of control on the counting for points on the conquer square. So if you have all your forces stealthed out on that, you won't count as having units. Even if you're the only ones that are there, you won't get 15 points. In fact, you'll get 0 points, and you won't even get a marker to activate the indicator to say that you're there, which is not good and bad. It's good in that the enemy forces then charge in there and you can potentially get a bunch of overwatch shots and zone of control, but it's bad in that you can't just bum rush the area and get the points, which is what I was originally planning on trying to do with this strategy here. So definitely didn't work out, but I'm actually glad that they've had it programmed that way because it makes it a little bit too overpowered. What I don't know is if you move all your units on there first and then you stealth, will you still get credit for being there because you were there when it first got conquered, or once everybody gets stealthed you lose the control? So that would be something that would be interesting to know, and if anybody knows the answer to that question, let me know. The alternative strategy, if you're trying to do that, is you just have everybody stealth in as many squares as you can, and then you bring in a couple of drones, and then he can see those units. He'll either try to shoot those down to stop you from getting the points, or he'll charge in there trying to just get the kill, and then he'll activate all your overwatches and zone of control attacks if he's trying to unstealth you, trying to get to those drones. Now here it didn't work out quite as well because he was able to just take them out with their rockets attacks, but it's always something to keep in mind as well, so you could use that to help you potentially with minimizing the point cost. The Pathfinders worked out well. They tend to overkill guys, especially against the sisters and lightly armored units with the ion cannons, but I typically recommend that you still use it because, as you saw, they did good against the armor, they do good against the paragons, and they can do damage against everything. Where they suck at is the real low tier units like Gretchens and other meat shields, because they tend to just overkill so much and waste a bunch of attacks on models, so it doesn't work out great there. The marker lights are dependent on the range as well of your weapon, so by giving them the ion rifle, it increases the range of their marker lights, and then if you have the broadside, you can guarantee a 100% hit with that missile. Should have been something I should have played around with a little bit better, because I would have been able to keep sniping out the enemy commanders, and when you kill their commander unit, any points that those command points that those units have, they get lost. So that's a good way to kneecap your opponent, because the sisters only have buffs for all their other units with their command points, but the other factions typically have some sort of unit buff and then some sort of AoE attack, and then I think all of them at a level 3 have a major AoE attack. So you just definitely want to be careful with that, because the Tau and the Space Marines summon in additional units with their action points, so that can be a real nightmare because those crisis suits can mess you up. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe, because we post more content for you. Have a great day.